For $1,000, would you have sex with my dad?
Oh, fuck. That's tough. Would I have to pay the 1,000 all at once, or could I do it like in installments or something like that?
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy, starting up our 1983 run this week. In the main event is War Games. We are the Mattitude, Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello, everybody. I wonder how many people had the problem I did. Maybe you had this problem, Matt, of the fact that War Games is written as one word. It's like RoboCop, where they capitalize the G. So if you search it as two words, you won't find it on Paramount Plus.
I've never had that problem because I've always known War Games as one word, and the wrestling stipulation double cage match, double ring double cage match is two words. But right. I don't know if I necessarily knew about that, the capital G. But I was pretty sure it was always one word way back to the beginning. I'm going to ask you, well, maybe I'll save it to the end. No, I'm going to ask you this right now, Eric.
Sure.
Why? So we're doing a one for Eric, one for me, one for Eric, one for me type of deal going through 1983. Like last year we did 1982. We're doing these 40-year later look at these movies. Why did you pick War Games for the first one?
Oh, I mean, I didn't have a huge specific reason, except I was looking at a list of potential movies for 83, and that just seemed like a good one. Like, it just seemed like, hey, War Games is a good movie. I haven't seen it in a little while. I think I've seen it more recently than you.
For sure, yeah.
But I also thought, I bet it's a movie that a lot of our listeners haven't watched. Maybe I'm wrong. You should write us and tell us if this was your first time watching it, that I think will be appreciated. Which is,
especially if those listeners are also fans of hackers. This was sort of a proto-hacker movie. 10 years later, we'd get back into the hacker scene with a very different set of hackers than we see in this movie. But War Games. I guess it's good, right? Because it doesn't shine too big, but it's not too obscure.
Although it is funny. It was funny for me to read that it was the fifth biggest movie of the year, 3 Oscar nominations. It was a big deal.
What was it nominated for?
Cinematography, screenplay, and some other behind the scenes one. I can't remember.
And Best Dabney Coleman.
Yep.
Okay, so War Games in the main event today, and then later on in this podcast, I'll let you know what the movie, the next 1983 movie is. Speaking of movies from the 80s, I believe this was from 86. So this, just a few days ago, Monday night, was our Alamo's 100th secret screening. So here in the DFW area, that we actually have 5 Alamos. There were more, I think at least one closed down during the pandemic lockdown.
Yeah.
But we still have, for our market, one of the most prolific Alamo areas there is. I think we even maybe have more than Austin right now, where it started. But yeah, so starting in 2013, it was a monthly thing that they would show cult movies, genre movies, B movies, C movies, that type of deal, old horror, sci-fi, genre stuff. And you wouldn't know what it is until you sat down. And James Wallace is sort of the curator here and the host. He does a preamble before the movie, and then he talks a bit more about it afterwards. And we finally reached number 100. Would have come sooner had the movie theater not been closed for 15 months. But it was, and as soon as we got tickets for it and noticed that there was an added $20, we were like, oh, there's a guest. Because that's how it usually works. That's how it worked with Monster Squad and stuff like that. And it was Rad. Have you ever seen Rad, Eric?
No, I've wanted to see Rad. And in fact, I think there was even a time, I don't know if I had a ticket or was going to get a ticket. There was going to be a Rad screening and they had to cancel it. Because it was one of like it wasn't the New Bev, but it was somewhere else, maybe the Egyptian in 35 millimeter. And then something fell through with getting the print, or the print was screwed up. So I have never seen Rad.
I think you and Brent and a bunch of and invite some more people. It doesn't just have to be you and Brent. Get a bunch of people get around the hearth. Get some soda pops and some BMX bikes and watch Rad. I think you'll enjoy it. It's actually a solid. There's elements to make fun of in that movie, but it's more solid than you would think. Holding up for a 1986 BMX bike movie, and it was direct. I can't remember the name of the director, but he did both Cannonball Run movies. Oh, the stuntman, the guy that Cliff Booth is based on.
Hal Needham.
Yeah, Hal Needham. So yeah, he directed this movie, and so yeah, the star of that movie, who was a teen or at least a young adult when this movie came out, Bill Allen, came out and was the guest and did a Q&A afterwards and stuff like that. He's very good in the movie, and he didn't really go on to do other big things. This was his big starring role, and the movie got creamed by Police Academy 3 back in training that the opening weekend, which opened opposite from it. So, but yeah, so we can get into that more when we do our Police Academy run. But anyway, I'm actually very serious about doing Police Academy run.
I mean, look, you won't have to twist my arm too much.
I kind of want. I always regret that Police Academy never got brought back by like a Seth Rogen or the way
it was Key and Peele were going to do it. Remember,
yeah,
Key and Peele were going to produce a new version a few years ago.
Is it because Peele got too big?
I think Peele went off and became serious horror Peele.
Man. Anyway, Brad, it's I think the part of the movie that is most mocked or beloved, or both, is the BMX school dance, like dance with the bikes set to Send Me an Angel.
So is it like kind of like how Karate Kid and now Cobra Kai has gone even further, like imagines a valley where like just everyone karate is just a way of life?
It's not it's not quite like that. It's so the whole point is that this is a small suburban town that doesn't see much action and doesn't know from the big city, but it's got a small clique of BMX biker kids, and they're like they deliver newspapers in the morning, and they know tricks and stuff. And the big city, the big sponsored BMX peak guys come to town because they've decided that this town is going to host Hell Track, which is like their Super Bowl and like a big race.
Sure.
So yeah, so it's not like the whole point is that like the whole town doesn't do it. It's just these three kids, mostly this one teenager who qualifies as the hometown guy who can be in the tournament, or the race. But yeah, speaking of Cobra Kai, when does that come back this summer?
Oh, I mean, it doesn't come back this summer. It was never going to come back this summer. It was supposed to start filming the day the writer's strike began, and they never started filming. So I was expecting it maybe the end of the year. But yeah, they have not begun filming. So Netflix a couple weeks ago did what is it, Tadum, their convention thing, and it was very weird if you watch them, because the writer's strike of it all meant that there was a lot more like, we don't have footage to show you, but we have just the cast talking about it. And Cobra Kai was one of the weirder ones because they had the cast reunites for the new season, and it was all of them getting together to do, and they made it look like a script reading. Like they sit down and they have a script, except it's like there's no writer. It's like, and again, they would have had the premiere. They were about to film the premiere when the writer's strike happened, but it is just a weird thing.
But you didn't answer my question. When this summer does Cobra Kai return?
July 14th.
Good, thank you. That's what I wanted to know. I just needed to know when the final season landed.
Sure.
But this Bill Allen, though, I'm telling you, Lori Loughlin is also the love interest in the movie, the biking BMX Lori Loughlin in the movie, and so he made
before she's in Back to the Beach the next year, where I would first see her.
And I haven't seen Rad since I rented it in middle school at some point. But Bill Allen was really, I feel bad that he didn't get more roles after this, because he was very charismatic. I feel like he should have been Ralph Macchio more than Ralph Macchio. It was very good. Because Ralph Macchio is a lot of things, but he wasn't Rad. Okay, let's get into some entertainment news here. Big deal happening in the DCU, which is that we have our new Superman and new Lois Lane, and that will be, and I believe these were, I think, just a day or two before this announcement came out, they announced the audition pairings.
Well, we should say that was reported, not announced, but yes.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, that was reported. And I think these were they were paired together, right? Like they didn't like,
they were done in pairs.
Column A and one from column B.
There was 3 finalists for Clark, 3 for Lois.
Because there was like Nicholas Hoult and someone else, and then someone else and Emma McKay, and then these two. were the duo, and it's David Cornswent and Rachel Brosnahan. No, so Rachel Brosnahan being the actual bigger name of the two, being the titular role in The Marvelous Miss Maisel. She even gets a superhero moniker. She's marvelous.
Just wrapped up. Yeah, it's final season.
And David Cornswent, who I believe I've only maybe seen in Pearl as the pervy
I've only seen him in
projectionist.
that. Yeah, I've only seen him in that.
Oh, great. Now Superman's going to show porn in a theater in
the 1920s.
Turn of the 20th century. Yeah. But yeah, and it is funny. He looks like a younger, or just he looks like Henry Cavill. And so they didn't even go for a wildly different looking white guy.
But I agree. I do very much agree with Jim Vejvoda's tweet about this, which I retweeted. Which is that
he's supposed to be.
They both look like Superman. That there is a type for that. Basically, he was like, hey, it doesn't matter with Batman. He's the guy in a mask,
right?
But there is not. They're never going to go that far. I think
Brandon Routh looks the most different out of all the Superman. Right?
But it's still not.
They're all strong-jawed white guys, but
they all could play brothers. Like Tom Welling could play. Like they could all play brothers.
I think David. I don't know. I think Brandon Routh stands out from there. Christopher Reeve, even these two though, could play twins. That's my point. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's very noticeable. And
again, I think it's just because they look like Superman. like to the point that it was funny because I saw people saying people who knew him had been would joke that hey, Superman, because you look like Superman, to this actor, because there's just, if you look like that, you're going to get that.
The fuck you say? Call me Superman?
All I know is
David Cornswent.
We got an American Superman again.
Thank God. Good for us. Good for you. Good for me. Good for America. Truth, Justice, and the American Way. David Cornswent. Man, Pearl was good. That's my takeaway.
It's great.
From this. Great. Liked it so much. I liked X, but really loved Pearl. I think you were higher on X than I was, but
yes.
Anyway,
did you know that David
for Maxine
Cornswet's maternal grandfather was the creator of Choose Your Own Adventure?
That's amazing. That's the best thing I've learned about any of this. That's better than the Superman news.
There you go.
That's better than the entire DCU. The Choose Your You. That's what I want. It's funny. I also do want to at some point watch The Marvelous Miss Maisel. It just wasn't one of the shows I picked up, and
same
passed
here.
me by. But yeah, it's supposed to be amazing. Obviously,
I hear it's great. I hear she's great in it. People are very excited. Say that her playing Lois Lane just feels very, very appropriate. Now it's funny when we talked about The Flash. You were talking about how of course the Snyder Bros, who are never ever going to give any. They're not going to give this a chance. They
don't even give movies featuring the actors from the Snyderverse a chance.
right.
It's it has to feature those actors, but it also has to be directed by Zack Snyder, or they are out. It's crazy.
And I saw one tweet when because James Gunn confirmed this news when the trades were putting out, did a tweet about this is true, they're both great people, and I saw one of the replies was okay, but will this Superman have anything to match this? And it's a clip from Henry Cavill in a Snyder movie. I'm no, fucking no, just don't watch it. Never think about it again. Just watch your Snyder movies over and over, because obviously the answer is no for you. That nothing will ever match this. So just don't.
The Flash entered the Speed Force a ton of times in The Flash.
right.
They're not going to nominate that for a Twitter Oscar.
They won't.
Much less give it the trophy.
Anyway, as we can mention in passing, it's we were going to find out this week if there's an actor strike. Now I saw on Deadline tonight that we're recording this on Wednesday night, that they might do an extension on negotiations past Friday when they were supposed to be up for another week. So we'll see, because people are still wondering, could James Gunn be at we know Marvel Studios isn't going to Comic-Con no matter what, but we don't know for sure about Warner Brothers and DC. So it's okay, would James Gunn possibly appear to sort of announce more stuff? But we'll find out. Also, by the way, screw everyone who there was a few notable Twitter accounts discussing film, and discussing film. I don't want to say for sure it was them, but a couple of Twitter accounts that their framing was so shitty about this in relation to Nicholas Hoult. that was like, Nicholas Hoult lost out on Batman, now he loses out on Superman. What a loser.
Man,
and I'm like,
what
Jesus
a
Christ.
fucking drip that Nicholas Hoult.
Like, he has a great career. He's very beloved.
He'll just have to settle on a stable, solid, acclaimed 30-year career starting as a child actor.
People only thought you were one of 3 people possibly could play Superman, but you didn't actually get the role. So screw you.
By the way, I won't care until Nicholas Hoult loses out on either Sherlock. Let's give him the British ones, right? Like, if he loses on Bond, King Arthur, Doctor Who, or Sherlock Holmes, then he's a loser. Like, these are American roles.
That's true.
All right. Okay, let's switching from DC to Marvel here. Secret Invasion debuted last week. When the series wraps up, we'll do a breakout episode about it. What is it, 6 eps? Sorry, muted to cough there. I expected a...
Muted to Cough is the name of your book.
Muted to Cough is my favorite Pavement album. I was expecting you to say more than one word. I was expecting you to say 4 words. And so I thought that I could get away with the muting. But you went,
Sure.
Okay, so
it did premiere last week.
It
can
did.
confirm.
And you are right. Last Wednesday, you just roll out the full.
Sure.
And the second episode debuted today, Aaron, as we record this. See, you could have said so much more.
Right.
And so we won't get into Secret Invasion stuff now, but we will talk about what most people were talking about last Wednesday when it debuted, which is that not only did Secret Invasion have the credits at the front, which is new for these sort of Marvel Disney Plus streaming shows, it was a sort of grotesque AI created intro that I have a hard time believing was purposely done to make a comment about how the artifice of the scrolls or something like that, or whatever they were saying.
You don't believe? I do believe that.
I do not believe it at all.
See, I disagree on that. I could see, especially because Secret Invasion has been in the work. Secret Invasion filmed quite a while ago. It's kind of, I shouldn't say on the shelf, because I mean they were working on it, but I could see someone feeling they were very clever a year ago, being like, ooh, and then the opening credits are AI, and because it's like, it's not a human, it's like off. Yeah. Because I also think it really shows you how quickly things move. If this show with those credits had premiered 9 months ago, maybe even 6 months ago, it wouldn't have been so negatively. Like when we were all doing for a second, that app where you can make yourself like look like you're in different art and shit. I think that this opening credits wouldn't have gotten this heated a reaction.
I'm going to concede one thing. I think they said, let's put it in the AI and see what it can do. And then they're like, oh, that's ugly. That's warped. And then someone reverse engineered it and said, like, you know what? Let's use it because it works with our theme. I don't think the idea was, let's put it in the AI because I'm going for this. I think they tried it there first. That's as far as I'm willing to give them. I think it's a bunch of bullshit, but because I feel like with amazing animators, you could also come up with something really inventive. But that doesn't seem to be what the show is really about.
It's just weird because the company that they hired to do the opening credits is the company that did the opening credits. They did the credits. I shouldn't say opening because most of the time, like you said, they're at the end. Did Loki, which had really cool credits. Miss Marvel, which I loved the credit sequence for Miss Marvel, like going through the city and all those really vibrant visuals. So it's like they worked with this company before. I don't know, Matt. I do believe them when they say that this was a choice. I also think they should have looked at them and said, this is ugly and off-putting in a way that, like, not in an interesting way. Like, in a, like, you know, maybe we just shouldn't use these. Maybe we should go back to formula.
In a distracting way that makes it feel like a mistake. Like,
right. And again, I think compounded by the timing when people have really, you know, I say turned on. Again, this is how quickly things happen. People are very much seeing the negative side of AI. The strikes are potential strikes. That's a crux.
They're all becoming a bunch of Sarah Connors.
Yeah, and so so it's like it was a bad idea that looked bad, and its timing is terrible. So it kind of
that's the holy trinity of bullshit, Eric.
Right.
It looks bad, feels bad, vibes bad, right. Bad timing makes you feel bad.
We did it. We did.
Makes you kind of feel sick.
But yeah, it definitely like I was saying, it's like, I didn't like them when I went to the screening of it. I was like, oh, I just think these are ugly. I don't like these credits, especially knowing that I really dug a lot of the credits. I love the Hawkeye credits, loved a lot of them. But it became such a thing. It took over any discourse about the show was about the goddamn credits. I was like, when I saw Dan Slott, who's a very notable Marvel writer, say, man, they should probably just just replace him at this point with some generic thing. I was like, honestly, they should. I knew they wouldn't, but I was like, it's just so completely became like we said, the holy trinity of badness came together on this. Not radness like the movie you watched.
That was a paragon of ratitude. I have to say. Rad, very entertaining. Great crowd to see it with, because it's the secret screening weirdos who are down for kind of anything. All right. So far they have 2 weeks in, they're not changing it, so I don't think they're going to change it. Just full musical number now. But scroll the musical they're going to open it with. All right, yeah. So coming up this week, we've got the Dial. I don't know when, but we're going to do Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny for you Patreon subscribers, the Hudson Hawk level, and we'll talk about this fifth and final Indiana Jones movie, at least with Harrison Ford. And and then Secret Invasion. What else? What am I skipping? We going to do a Dead Reckoning?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, Dead Reckoning Part 1.
We got to do a Dead Reckoning.
And yeah, that's I won't promise anything more at the moment. And let's get into I've got a couple write-ins here really quickly, which is, do we want to do the Flash one we skipped last week? Because we're 2 weeks away from a huge bomb that maybe no one cares about.
By which we should just quick flash box office update. Massive fall. Not only did it open insanely low, but it had
wasn't it like a 73% drop?
It was one of the worst falls not the worst, but it was one of the very worst falls for a comic book movie. While Elemental held very well, by the way, not enough to save it. It'll still not be profitable in theaters, but at least it's holding up well. But yeah, so people are it's like the Flash is bombing to a really insane degree.
Man, Quantumania fell hard, and then the Flash was like, "Hold my therapy dog," and they were like, but
Quantumania opened with 100 million.
It opened huge.
That's the difference between Marvel and DC. I think right now is the Marvel movies. I was looking. I was like, Morbius is the only Marvel connected movie in the past two years to not open with at least 100 million.
Do you think there's a little bit of a pushback, a little bit of a rejection these days for silly movies? Now, again, Guardians is exempt because they're the Guardians and they're superstars. But man, Love and Thunder was too silly for people. The Flash is very silly. Quantumania is silly. Do people need the brooding? I think we need to break it up. We needed a Matt Reeves Batman movie in here at some point, right? Something to sort of counterbalance.
I don't think it's too silly. I don't know. There's just
Secret Invasion is not silly, so people should.
People one of the more serious things they've ever done.
People seeking something unsilly, seek out Secret Invasion. All right, let's get into this Flash thing, which is that Chris from Minnesota wrote in. I know you probably bring it up on the podcast. We didn't, but we are now. There are all kinds of arguments for and against using dead actors in new movies, but when there's an actor like Christopher Reeve, who, when he was alive, was asked to film an episode of Smallville, and had said that he'd do it if they agreed to film a scene with him and Tom Welling promoting the Christopher Reeve Foundation and put it in the episode. Doesn't it feel wrong for them to use him without promoting his foundation? Talking about the Christopher Reeve Superman image you see in the multiversal elements of the Flash. So this is what Chris is asking. Seeing we can assume if he was alive, it's something he would have asked them to do, perhaps.
Yes, I guess it would be nice. I don't know. It's as someone who wasn't bothered by this, some people were, assuming, of course, I assume that they, obviously that his estate and family members signed off on it. It's one of those things where I'm like, that sounds nice, but honestly, I didn't remember that offhand myself. So
I think that's a detail that Superman stands and Smallville stands would know, but I wasn't aware of it at all. And also we just naturally assumed they got permission from his estate. to do.
I'm sure they did. I mean, they had to have. They had to have.
Exactly.
But yes, beyond that, this certainly sounds like it would have been a nice thing. But again, without getting too into the weeds, and we don't need to talk about anything else about the Flash, because I don't want to get too into spoilers and all. But it's like, these cameos that have people up in arms. And I'm not saying there's no reason to like have a feeling about them one way or the other. But they are relatively very small part of the movie. Like they are like some people, you'd think that this is like a huge part of the movie, and Christopher Reeve Superman has like a big part or even a big scene, and that's just not the case. So yeah,
and if you've listened to us talk on the bonus episode on Patreon, you and I both said that it was like the most least interesting. Maybe not the least interesting part of the movie, but like the part we didn't care. Like there were so many better parts of that movie.
It was quote unquote fun, but it was also something that could have easily been removed. And that is me both damning, I guess that's damning with faint praise, because it's like me pseudo defending it, also saying it's like it had to be in the movie. I don't think that either. I just didn't have like a hugely strong feeling one way or the other about it, because it's not a major. It's not them trying to like do Tarkin in Rogue One, whatever you feel about that.
Or Leia in Rogue One, or
that was one tiny moment. That was like, though I still think I fucking love Rogue One. I wish that wasn't the final shot of the movie, because it's like not a great digital recreation of her.
No, nothing ever got better than de-aged Hank Pym in the first Ant-Man. Like that's the pinnacle of all of this de-aging stuff. Jeff writes in, and this is just about something that we were talking about last week when we brought up the fact that the Bear season 2, what we don't know what the decision was, or what the contract work was like, or how it works when it was previously an FX on Hulu thing, or why season 1 was so acclaimed and it was released as a binge. Why season 2 was also released as a binge when it could have led to over 2 months of weekly conversations, because some of the episodes were so strong, and it could have built up the audience and the buzz for that show even more. And Jeff writes in, hey guys, I wanted to offer a counterpoint to the discussion on weekly episodes versus binge drops. As a peak TV viewer myself, I have found it sometimes frustrating to watch weekly releases because of the streaming platforms themselves and how they don't adequately communicate what the days the episodes come out on. Recent examples include Love and Death and Miss Maisel, where HBO Max and Amazon advertised a new episode on my screen every day. Eventually, I just waited for the whole season to end because it was too much work to figure out when new episodes occurred. There's also probably a business reason, like first week numbers or some such, but I'm a consumer, damn it. So nuts to that. I just want to watch my TV. Keep on keeping on, Jeff. I don't know. I've never had necessarily a problem with that, figuring out when an episode drops. I guess I don't look for, sometimes if you go to the info, the main screen for the show, it says new episodes every Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe the issue here is that not all streamers are built equal and they don't do that.
I know it. Look, I totally get that it can be a little confusing with like, okay, Disney Plus is pretty much always releases things at midnight. So new episodes of Secret Invasion or whatever MCU show is happening, it's like, okay, I know if on Tuesday night, if I stay up, and this is just West Coast, of course, if I stay up till midnight, I could watch it. But then there's some streamers that put them up at like 9 p.m. Eastern or Pacific. So it's like, it is technically, even though it's like new episodes on Friday, but they're really up Thursday night. And it's just, no one has like a hard and fast rule. So I get that it can be a little confusing when it really is. I will say, again, going full circle, everything's going full circle. The fact that the stuff like House of the Dragon still is sticking to its like HBO premiere time. So it's like Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific. I think helps it. Like, it's like, because guess what? It's like, I do see that the hardcore fans are waiting to
appointment
watch
television. And the funny thing about owning Sunday nights the way HBO has for so long is that it still taps into it's still around, though it's dwindled for various reasons, pandemic reasons, streaming reasons. The Monday after the Sunday conversation about it at work or elsewhere, you know what I mean? Like, what they used to refer to as water cooler TV, right? It's there. It's much smaller, but like that's the thing. There's a difference between like the watching something on a Sunday and then talking about it with everyone on a Monday who maybe you don't maybe see on the weekends.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I feel like, to answer this question a little more, it's like I almost feel like, because like I said, it can be murky. I almost feel like, what if these streamers like had like a really kind of eventize their big shows? I realize you couldn't do this with every single show you have, but it's like if the MCU shows had a like almost like a countdown clock each week for like the next episode or something on some screen.
Yeah, like when you just went into the app.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, something like that. That's food for thought. Food for thought.
Yeah, I like it. Let's send it out there. I also think that there used to be like a nightmare thing where something would air like, and this was network TV too, or basic cable at least, where it was like it'll premiere on this Monday, but then every Thursday from there on it'll be a new episode. It'll change nights from the premiere episode.
A show I just recommended a couple weeks ago, Gremlin Secrets of the Mogwai, did that because it was one of the Max debut day shows, which was like I think a Tuesday, but then it was every week on Thursday.
Yeah,
so
that's a nightmare. No, I get it. I'm with Jeff. Burn it all down. Okay. Let's get into our good things to enjoy. I'll announce right now what our main event is for next week. And Eric, you are either going to be delighted or horrified, or a mix of both, which is that it is Fire and Ice.
I'm neither. I'm indifferent.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think I'm going to do the full thing I did with the 1982 movies, which was like pick an animated and or puppet movie, which was all three of my picks last time.
I forgot you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did Nim, Last Unicorn, and Dark Crystal last for 82. I am starting with an animated movie this time, one that I loved as a middle schooler. Not only that, a middle school boy, also a horny middle school boy, because there is a very voluptuous, scantily clad female character in this movie. I had the poster in my room, but it is Fire and Ice, and you can watch it on Prime Video. Fire and Ice is an animated fantasy adventure film from Ralph Bakshi, who a lot of people will know as a animator, filmmaker who does rotoscoping for his animation. And also it's a collaboration between Bakshi and fantasy artist Frank Frazetta. And I'll talk about it more next week. But yeah, it was in the news all last decade because Robert Rodriguez was trying to get a live action reboot off the ground, and that never came to pass. And there's a comic book coming out this summer though. Anyway, Fire and Ice, Prime Video next week. Let's get into our good things to enjoy. Eric, what is your pick for this week?
It was funny because at first I was having a little scramble because I hadn't prepped it. I got home just from dinner right before we did this. I'm going to recommend something I just saw a couple weeks ago in the theater. Although, while it might still be in a couple theaters, I think mostly it's at home. Which is the recent release of "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret," which I'd kept hearing raves of this movie, based on the Judy Blume book, and then decided I was doing a catch-up weekend of movies, went to a bunch of things, and I went to see this knowing it was only in like one local theater at that point, so it's probably completely gone at this point, and watching it and completely agreeing and getting the hype and being like, this is one of my favorite movies this year. So yeah, based on the Judy Blume book, which is for me interesting because I actually read a lot of Judy Blume as a kid, but not this one. I read the Fudge books, and I read Then Again, Maybe I Won't, which was kind of her boy version of this, like the puberty book. But I never read Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. But this movie is written and directed by Kelly Freeman Craig, who made a movie I very much liked a few years ago, Edge of 17, the Haley Steinfeld movie. That was really good. And she is very adept at making movies about young adults. And first, I knew very little except for the couple of the leads of this movie going in, which is Abby Ryder Forston, who plays Margaret, who played Cassie in the first two Ant-Man movies, who was a very cute little kid playing his and very, very.
Oh my God, is she the preteen in this?
Yeah, she's Margaret.
Oh, she's all grown up. It's almost it's been almost 10 years since the first Ant-Man movie. Yeah, so
that Rachel McAdams plays her mom. But I didn't even know that her dad is played by Benny Safdie of the Safdie brothers, of Uncut Gems directing fame, who's popping up as an actor in a lot of things as well. And the other thing I didn't know about this that I was like, oh, this is interesting, is that it was going to be set in 1970, the year the book came out. Because obviously they could have done the updated version of the story, but they decided just to set it like when it was written.
It's easier not to have to deal with cell phones and social media.
Of course, and have 12
in anything, in any genre, except
yeah.
sci-fi.
But and also, if you take a book like this that was written about 12-year-old kids yes, it is a strength of the story that is forever relatable. Her angst about her body and changing and feeling her first crush, but at the same time, like you said, once you put cell phones in, once you put social media in,
then it becomes eighth grade. Yeah, then
it becomes a different thing, even though like the core can still be relatable. So I like that they said it in there. Kathy Bates plays her grandmother. It's just a really
it's terrible when she hobbles Margaret.
She does, but it's for her own good. But yeah,
and she's really, just in bed going, "Are you there, God?"
A really endearing movie, really sweet movie. And there was stuff that I didn't expect, and it was funny because I had some women when the movie ended. I had these women next to me who were like, "I didn't remember that from the book." Yeah, they added that about something I'm going to mention in a second, but then I think they might be wrong, or maybe I think it might be in the book, but they added more to it, which is that a big part of this movie is that Margaret's mom is a lapsed Christian, and her dad is Jewish, and that she has been told that when she's an adult, she can decide what religion she is. And that's like that, but also kind of feeling like, weird about that. And the background of, I think that the stuff they might have added was the stuff about the fact that her mom being estranged from her parents because she married a Jewish guy in the 60s. But it was all really well done. And Rachel McAdams is great, has like this scene that's like kind of like an Oscar nomination worthy scene where she kind of like tells like her story to her daughter that I thought was excellent. Anyway, really good movie. And Abby Ryder Forreston is so good, excellent in it. And just like coming of age movies obviously are bread and butter. They can there's a lot of great ones, but this is definitely on the list. And I, like I said, it's now one of my favorite movies of the year. I saw why a lot of other people were saying that. It is very, very well done.
Good
my recommendation. And so it's really, again, it totally bombed in theaters, even though everyone was raving about it. But they quickly put it on digital, so you can currently rent or buy it on digital, not streaming service. I'm sure it will be down the line.
All I know about this, obviously I knew the book and the title and the topic growing up, never read it. But I was I guess I am, I don't know why I said was, a Lords of Acid fan. And they have a song called "I Must Increase My Bust," where that chant is sort of the chorus of the song. So that was my main into Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, was Lords of Acid.
Go ahead. Go for it. Yeah, you go for it.
I don't know if I've said this on this podcast. I've tweeted about it once or maybe twice over the years, which is that it always amuses me that there's one of the better known Lords of Acid songs, if there is such a thing. If there is such a thing.
All our listeners will have their several of their favorite Lords of Acid songs.
Look, if you're a Lords of Acid fan, this is on everyone's top 5, which is called The Crab Louse, about genital lice, right?
Sure.
I
don't know any of this stuff.
There's a specific song. So it's called The Crab Louse, and there's during the TV promos for the 2000 animated movie Dinosaur, which was a kids movie.
Yeah.
Was set to The Crab Louse. And it obviously an instrumental part of that, not them actually singing about genital crabs, but a very specific part where like just a woman singing in the background and stuff, like not words or anything. But yeah, that always amused me. And at one point I could find it online, and I believe it was a Disney movie, Dinosaur.
It was. Yeah. There's a ride at Animal Kingdom to this day.
Yeah. So anyway, it always amused me that they use that. Okay. So
the last thing I was going to say is behind the scenes, 2 names I didn't know were involved in this movie when I went to see it. James L. Brooks produced it. And so this movie, after the Lionsgate logo, had the goddamn Gracie Films logo from the end of The Simpsons. Which I was like, oh, wow. And then Hans Zimmer wrote the score. So
you got to mix it up.
Yeah, you got to mix it. And it was just like The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it was just Interstellar.
Yes.
All right. My good thing to enjoy this week debuted today. With 2 episodes on Apple TV Plus. It's called Hijack, and I believe going forward it's weekly. But it's 7 episodes in total. It's a mini series. I guess they could over more if you're doing a Die Hard situation. But it is stars Idris Elba. He's kind of the most famous person in this British cast, along, I guess, with Eve Miles. You're a Torchwood fan,
it's,
right?
It's Idris Elba.
No, but
I
I'm
will
saying
take
but I'm saying I can't do my thing where I just list who's in it. I can list Idris.
I mean, you
Idris
can
Elba,
do it. You
but
love
nobody's
to do
gonna
it.
know. They're just a bunch of Brits. Anyway, it's a 20.
I mean, there's the name that jumps out to me very quickly though is Archie Punjabi, who people will know from The Good Wife, who had the infamous falling out with
okay. I think I know
with
she
Julianne
plays on this.
Margulies, where they wouldn't film their final scene together. Yes.
They had the Vin and Rock before Vin and Rock. Yeah,
That's right.
Or was it around the same time?
I mean, maybe it was the same time. Maybe they had phone calls with each other. I don't know.
Oh, I wonder in the mixed tag match, who would team with who? Like, would it be
Right.
The Rock and her versus? Okay. Okay. So it's a 24 style, meaning 24, the TV show style thriller that takes place on a hijacked airplane going from Abu Dhabi to London. And so the flight itself mirrors the episodes. Like every episode is kind of like an hour of the flight. And in that real-time way, it doesn't hype that premise the way that 24 did with the ticking clock and all that stuff. But it's there because the whole thing takes place over the flight. And Idris Elba plays a corporate business negotiator who is flying back home to try one last time to make things work with his wife, who has moved on, has herself a whole new boyfriend who's a cop, and a teenage son who is not happy with this new arrangement. And wouldn't you know it, he gets hijacked on the plane. But the whole mystery of one of the mysteries of the show is figuring out how these hijackers connect with each other, what they want, like what their demands are. That's something that sort of unfolds each episode. And I've watched all 7 already, so I'm not just recommending this to you based on the 2 episodes that aired today. But it's well done. It's just a fun thriller. I found myself really wanting to know how it all sort of plays out. There's some brutal moments on it. As Idris Elba, and it's an unconventional hero thing because he's not like, it's not Liam Neeson from Taken. It's not like they picked the wrong plane. You know what I mean? Like, he really does try to use his negotiating skills and his efforts of reading people and figuring out what people want because there's the show starts out with the entire plane thinking he's turned on them and sided with the terrorists, right? Like, because he's trying to get on their good side and make things work. So I recommend Hijack. I think it's also stylized as H//Jack. I don't know why, but it's just called Hijack. Don't worry about that bullshit.
Are you there, God? It's me, Hijack.
It comes from George Kay, who's had a couple shows on Netflix, namely the most famous, I believe, is Lupin, and then he did Criminal, which I watched, and some other dude who I don't know what he does. But anyway, he directed She's Out of My League with Jerry Baruchel and Alice Eve. Anyway.
Don't forget that Idris Elba later this year, will have another series, Knuckles, the spinoff of Sonic, where he's reprising his role.
Strangely enough, that also takes place in real time.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
On a flight where he can't run. He's like, I can't even use my knuckles on this flight. All right. Hijack, Apple TV Plus starts today. So watch it. Okay. Let's get into, I just realized my air conditioner turned off automatically. It's one of those things, and it's been 110 days here, and I am sweltering in my room. I'm wondering if I should just run and turn it on or not. As we get into WARGAMES, a movie Eric picked for no reason at all, apparently. Just like it was there.
Like WARGAMEs.
It's like, look, I like games.
What
I
else?
like war.
What else you need?
Yeah, has everything. WARGAMES, some things. I hadn't seen this movie in a long time, but this was a big deal in the 80s, specifically also the VHS market. A lot of these quotes, what is it? Shall we play a game, or would you like to play a game? Yeah. Shall we play a game? How about a nice game of chess?
Is this a game or is it real? What's the difference? That was a big one.
Yeah, there's a big one. Dabney Coleman playing sort of a no good Nick who gets gets his ass handed to him in the end. That's not true. He just learns a
No,
valuable.
they tussle each other's hair.
I know. I'm saying
they have an I'm okay, you're okay. See,
look, we don't see past the final hurrah, so we don't know like how his career falls after this, after almost leading the world into Armageddon.
Right.
But there's also a good chunk of the movie where Dabney kind of vanishes. He shows up by the end, but for a while, it's really what's his name? Barry Corbin.
Yeah.
It's really his game for a while, and then Dabney shows up eventually. This now Hijack. I couldn't really list the actors, but this, Eric, is a character actor paradise.
It is. I mean, including people I could name, and then people I'm like that guy. Like,
right?
there's definitely
there's a ton of that guys in this movie.
Yeah, especially if you grew up like us, watching movies in the 80s and 90s, because there's so many people that just worked a ton. And also we should say that this is the movie that made Matthew Broderick a star. That this was he had 2 movies this year. The other was Max Dugan Returns, but this was the big deal. This was the big hit that made him and obviously it's very funny to watch this. This was like what, 4 years before Ferris Bueller? Of course,
three, yeah, because then it was this, and then 2 years later he'd have Lady Hawk, which I don't think was a hit, but it was a big prominent role.
Yeah, and there's obviously some while they are there's plenty of differences. There's also some similarities between Ferris and David as far as their computer skills and using them for no good.
I feel like Ferris could have like gotten out of that locked room with recording the keypad tones and stuff like that. I feel like he could have done that.
Me too.
Made Matthew Broderick a star. Matthew Broderick would go on to star in another Lawrence Lasker, Walter Parks movie, which was Project X, while Ali Sheedy would go on to do another John Badham movie, which was Short Circuit. So people who starred in this movie went on to keep working with each other. And Eric, Ali Sheedy in this movie is tremendous.
Yeah.
She doesn't get a lot of the credit she deserves because the 80s, Molly Ringwald seemed to steal a lot of the spotlight as the it girl of this kind of era. But Ali Sheedy, very prominent member of the Brat Pack, as they were called at the time.
Yep.
She was in this, St. Elmo's Fire, a lot of stuff. Short Circuit, which I just mentioned. She is so charismatic, such a better actress than Molly Ringwald. I'm sorry. And also as a Columbia Prep alum, Eric.
I did not know that.
Graduated high school in 1980, 6-7 years before we would show up there.
I remember as a kid, because I saw this movie as a little kid and I really liked it, and I saw it a few times, but then I didn't see it for a while. And I do remember there was a certain point where I didn't realize that Ali Sheedy was the girl in this movie. And this is a very being a stupid little kid thing, which is that Ali Sheedy would always have shorter hair after this. So it's just
directly after this, she'd be in the Breakfast Club,
which made her a bigger deal. And then she was, part of the Brat Pack. But I remember at some point realizing that was her in the, a much more like girly girl and with long hair in War Games in it.
As I sit here, sort of like giving a shout out to Ali Sheedy and her acting talent, and how she's just charismatic and cute and everything. I'm a fake fan, Eric. I never saw her starring vehicle. She got eventually a lot of these ensemble movies, of course, but she got her own movie with Made to Order, and I never watched it.
I saw goddamn Made to Order.
How was
Summer
it?
'87. It's fucking amazing.
Tell me all about it.
Yeah, because I remember doing a whole chart of every movie I saw summer '87 a few years ago when I was bored, and that was on it. Because I was like, I'm not missing Ali Sheedy and Made to Order.
I'm sorry, did you say you did this a few years ago?
Yeah.
So it wasn't something you did in '87. You did it.
No, I'm saying a few years ago I did a chart of the movies I saw when this. I was just noting that summer '87.
But I guess why is it a chart and not a list?
Well, it's actually I'll send you the tweet, Matt. It was just a grid. It was a grid of posters. I did a whole grid of posters of 87.
Okay, I think the chart was throwing me. I'm like, was it a graph? Is it a good then
God damn it, doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is I saw Made to Order in the theater.
Just list the fucking
and
movies.
It changed my goddamn life.
Next week's main event, Made to Order. Okay, interesting quick facts about this movie. Martin Brest was the original director, apparently, and was he got canceled, Eric, after a few days. a little like a week and a half. Too bad he wouldn't.
Rebounded quite nicely.
I was gonna say, too bad he didn't go on to do anything great after this.
or just the biggest movie of the year with Beverly Hills Cop a year later.
And apparently, John Lennon originally was interested in the Dr. what's his name, Falcon role, who was supposed to be modeled after Dr. Falcon, but that loser went and got himself murdered in public, so he didn't get to play this role. But yeah, so one of the lines that stands out as a very funny line because it's insane is when he has the video of Dr. Falcon on TV, and she's like, "That's him. He looks amazing."
Right.
And I was like, "What is she?"
He looks like a British character actor.
Like, is she supposed to have the hots for him? Like, what's the deal?
That is a weird line. I mean, it's followed by purposely funny dialogue about how old 41 is. But yeah.
But I also feel like I wish she had said that to him when she saw him in person later in the movie.
God
and she's
damn,
like,
you look amazing.
God fucking damn, you wear that suit well.
But this movie really, it did, it was like the first kind of big like hacker movie, and it was also just a movie that, of course, obviously, if you watch movies like this now, it's very funny to see big old clunky computers, giant floppy disks. I mean, this stuff predates us having computers, so it's like, whoa, those are huge floppy disks. Like, I remember using floppy disks, but not that size.
Yeah, I was very surprised for the size. That graduation cap sized floppy disk.
But since we, because personal computers were such a foreign thing to most people, this was like cutting edge. And this is the movie my biggest memory has, and I'll from a little kid, goddamn pencil. The password is pencil really ingrained itself in like little me's mind. Just the idea that there were passwords, Matt, like those were a thing you needed on a computer. This is the movie that I'm sure told not just me, but many people. Like
this is the movie that taught me about DEFCON and about fearing for my life. Fearing for my life. Yeah. DEFCON 4-1. Yes. And how the lower number is the worst one. Right. This is how I knew that. Eric and I, growing up at the tail end, the dying embers, though some of the most heightened tensions of the Cold War, eventually a TV movie that I actually think is very good, apparently rumored to be good enough that it actually swayed Ronald Reagan himself into entering peace talks, which was The Day After, which showed, the whole movie was about what if there was global thermonuclear war. What would that look like actually in America for the people who survived it and dying of radiation poisoning and having a horrible existence? And apparently it really got to Reagan. And then he started, he was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have as many nukes. Anyway, I don't know if that's true or not, but it was a very good movie. But this movie, for the time, actually addressing, obviously, decades earlier, Dr. Strangelove would also do something like this. But yeah, it wasn't very common as far as like, hey, let's talk about what it would be like if nukes were launched, because it's only all in. There's no like half measures when it comes to thermonuclear war.
Right.
It's a planet ender. It's a humanity ender, and mixed with technology and computers, which was a big hot topic for movies at the time, because as you mentioned, even just having a home computer, that was just starting at this point.
Yes.
And yeah, I think the idea of even hacking was such a revolutionary thing. Like, computers can talk to each other, like you can actually get into a system. And so this was a scary prospect. It was kind of a what if scenario. AI before, it was called artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
This learning computer was, I don't know how many, movie, because this wasn't supposed to be far-fetched. This wasn't sci-fi. This was supposed to be rooted in the here and now. Now, you and I have grown up on movies taking huge liberties with what computers were able to do at the time, right? Yes. Like, because the people who making the movies didn't understand what computers could do. They were like, well, what if it could do this?
They can print a woman, Matt.
I've seen it. Print a woman. I've seen it in Weird Science. Right. You can just create somebody.
You could also create a bomb. Yeah. In that movie, you can.
Yeah, a full missile in your house. So this movie was trying to keep things grounded. I think they did a lot of research with it about what could happen. I think it gets a little away from itself, but enough that it's forgivable. Like the tic-tac-toe moment at the end, and like, this will work. I'm like, will it? Like, it works because the movie says it works, and it gets the message out. But at that point, you're kind of almost a little Black Mirror-y. But for the most part, this is a grounded tech movie for the era that was meant to be thought-provoking and scary. And what if this could happen, if this bozo in Seattle could just get into NORAD and access this Joshua computer and stuff like that, and set up a game that couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, and I think it says a lot that David is unequivocally the main character, but I think it says a lot about what the movie was trying to do, that we don't meet him till like 15 minutes into the movie. Like, the movie first establishes the stakes, like first establishes the government and the missiles.
Second lead of this movie is that command center, right. Like that whole thing, like you just said, that's who we meet first. And there was a hacker scene in 83. Obviously, I wouldn't have known anything about it at the time. It wasn't something we saw in movies or TV a lot, but there were hackers, and this character is based. David's character is based on, I guess, a genius hacker that the writers met at one point. And yeah, so we start with there was one other thing I was going to mention, but I can't remember what it is, so we'll just move on. Oh, John Badham, we should mention, is the director of this movie. Had a big 80s for him. Started with Saturday Night Fever in 77, which was his big movie, but then had a solid 80s and 90s, just kind of continuously worked, made some very enjoyable movies along the way. Short Circuit, Stakeout, stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't like, he's one of those like just like Peter Hyams, like these guys who didn't have a huge like style, but they just made really well done.
Michael Apted, like these kind of guys. Yeah, like
just like they like just kind of respect that they like are just good good directors. They make really solid movies, and I do think this movie. I think this movie holds up a lot because, yeah, of course, everything won't hold up about it. But I do think the fact that, like, because there's a version of this movie that's much more like, we start on David and it's much more like heightened. But I think the way they portray it, like it grounds it enough that even though there's stuff where you're like, would that work? I think you can go with it more.
I think it's a very lean movie. There's not a lot of if I'm thinking about wasted moments in this movie, I think about the corn scene where the dad is like buttering his corn with bread, and then he's like, it's not cooked. I'm like, it stands out in a movie where there's no other scene like that. Even the high school scene where he's being a class clown and stuff like that. It feeds into later when they're like, hey, geniuses who do poorly at school are like, they are optimal targets for recruitment. You know what I mean? Like people who are very smart, but like uncommitted and irresponsible and stuff like that. And by the way, his dig at the teacher, that was a great fucking line. Like
it was. It's like, I watched the trailer and it's in the trailer.
Yeah. Your wife. That's good. That's good. He's got some comedy chops. I would have bust out.
I mean, he's definitely going to, get sent to the office saying stuff like that, but it turns out that's part of his plan. So
yeah. By the way, that teacher,
I absolutely one of those guys. Also had a funny moment. This is a very me specific moment. Of the fact that near the end of the movie, there is a girl, a very pretty black girl her main thing is doing the countdown to like how much time they have left, and she gets a few close-ups. I thought, wait a second, is that? And I was right that she is one of the paramedics at the beginning of Friday the 13th, the final chapter, because I literally went to see that this weekend at a outdoor screening, and I looked her up, and her main credit was many episodes of First and 10, where she played one of the wives of one of the players. But yes, it was just funny that I happened to watch two movies within a few days with this actress who didn't work a lot after the 80s. But
I was going to say, maybe those were her only two movies. Who knows?
No, she had a few others. But yes, the teacher, 100%, one of those guys. I couldn't tell you what he's from. I just know I've seen him in a bunch of things.
By the way, fucking Maury Chaykin was one of the nerds that he goes to visit. That was
serious
insane.
nerd.
That's insane.
Eddie Deezen from Grease, who got accused of a bunch of lecherous stuff a couple years ago, is the more obvious nerd. But yeah, Maury Chaykin, who in my recommendation on this very podcast for The Sweet Hereafter and other films of that ilk, is one of
Maury Chaykin, great moment on the witness stand in My Cousin Vinny. Like he's been in 200 things. This guy. I don't think I've ever seen him with that much hair, but I mean, I have because I've seen this movie. I just didn't know it was him. But yeah, so let's start out with baby Michael Madsen and guy who's also in 200 things, John Spencer, looking exactly the fucking same, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's one of those guys.
For 30 years he looked like this.
John Spencer was one of those actors who just, that's his look. You could tell me he was
never aged, but he never de-aged. He was never old. He was never young. He's just all of He obviously would go on to be a regular on LA Law in the 80s as well.
And then the West Wing, a lot of people.
But West Wing, but also Womack. I remember that name very well from The Rock as the asshole FBI or whoever he was who was like out, dead set against releasing Sean Connery's character. Anyway, so so we start off with them. It's sort of a little mini mystery of like, where are they? What are they doing? Are they leaving work? Are they coming to work? They're just being very casual about it, but as casual as they are, is sort of the counterpoint is the seriousness of their surroundings, which seem to be their keypads and vaults, and it's this very official, secretive government place that involves a lot of security, but they're very casual about it. So they're going to work as if they're on kind of like a construction site. They're obviously their uniforms say U.S. Air Force, but like they're just having a regular conversation. But then things get very, very tense as they start getting launch codes. And it comes down to this opening scenario, which we would find out a beat later is a test. But it's very intense where it's like Michael Madsen pulls the gun on John Spencer and he's like, turn the key, and John Spencer won't do it. I would like to see more of that scene. Like, did he pull the trigger? Were there blanks? Like what?
Right, because we see them again later. It's weird that we see them again later when they're being replaced by the computer, but it's like, that must have been awkward.
Yeah. Totally get a shoot, like, because I would hope that they ended the simulation right at that moment, or else he would have had to pull the trigger.
Right. But I do think this is a great opening sequence, and because it freaked me out as a kid, and I still watching it again, I'm like, this is very effective, and it's one of those scenes where I don't know how much correlates to what real life would have been at the time, but it all feels real. The having to match what's in the book, the code that they're given over the phone, and then breaking open the way they have to snap that plastic open to see if it matches. And then another thing that we just never seen before, Matt, having to turn the keys in unison. That's been done in a lot of movies since, but this is the first time I ever remember seeing it. That was part of the thing you had to do.
Yeah, this was probably the first time I was introduced to it too. And then right after this is we learned out that they weren't the only ones being tested. It was like a countrywide test for these missile silos, and that 20-something percent,
22% failed to launch.
Failed. And so the human error there meant that not every nuclear weapon in the arsenal was actually going to be launched back because of goddamn human compassion and error and hesitancy and stuff like that. And so,
because again, John Spencer being a great actor, it's like he sells the like, I don't want to kill 25 million people if this is wrong. The fact that he pauses, and
there's an entire movie based on this one scenario, and it's called Crimson Tide.
Yeah.
Which is like a very good movie about like, what do you do when orders are supposed to be black and white, and what do you do when you need to look beyond that, and when's the appropriate moment to do that? Dabney Coleman appears in the next scene as Dr. John McKittrick. And he talking to Barry Corbin again. A lot of these people, very famous character actors.
I know we've mentioned before, like Dabney Coleman was very prevalent in the 80s.
So hot right now, whether it was this or Cloak and Dagger, or was 9 to 5 80s.
Yeah, it was 80. 1980.
From playing the racist on Different Strokes in that one special episode. He was everywhere. He had his own sitcom. Was he a teacher?
I believe so. Yeah. I think the last time I think I mentioned that a few years ago, I went to the Dabney double of this and Cloak and Dagger at the New Beverly.
Yeah, because those were like a year apart. Weren't they around the same time, those movies?
Yep.
But I mean, he'd been acting since the 60s too. So it's
But
like
this was like his time to shine. Yeah.
his time to shine. Oh, Tootsie. We just did a Dabney movie last year.
That's right.
From
That's when we probably said everything we just said. We said it on Tootsie.
from 82. We were like, Dabney was so hot. And then of course Dragnet. We should just do a Dabney-thon because I would like to do Dragnet. But yeah, so he starts arguing that it's like, take human beings out of the equation. Let's have the computers run this. Now it's like, we'll still have the president still needs to make the call, but by the way, there's a lot of I gotta talk to the president, wake the president. There's a lot of off-screen president talk in this movie, which would become sort of an action movie cliche for a lot of these sort of war rooms and command centers and stuff of people who aren't the president talking about things. And but yeah, so it's like we got to take the men out of the loop and computerize it, and we can wink and be like, this is Skynet. But I'll say this, at least Skynet wanted to kill real people. This machine is just like, I'm gonna kill fake people. It was very more innocent. Skynet was out to actually like end humanity, because the point was to end humanity, not win the game.
Right.
But and then we find out that this computer, very purposely named Whopper, after so it's beat very much so that it sounds like the Burger King sandwich, and it kind of, I don't know, it adds to the sort of like tackiness of and casualness of treating nuclear war, and which is again what we'll come around to at the end when the messaging. But and
we're still dealing with the sort of 70s idea of computers as these giant walls and rows, like so the Whopper, living up to its name, it's a giant clunky thing. I will say give it up for Kubrick, who in the 60s had his supercomputer just represented by a small red light, so it didn't look I mean, that movie was literally set in the future, but I'm just saying that it's like, of course it's going to be funny now to be like, this is the high-tech computer and it's this giant fucking cabinet. Although I still think it works. There's some nice shots of when they're going around it, and like the countdown clock on it, I think works pretty well.
There's a lot of buttons and lights and things that go ping in this movie that I can't speak to it. I feel like it's based on the technology of the time, but maybe they threw a few things in there that just to look cool and sci-fi. I don't know. And so then basically then they kind of agree with them. They're like, yeah, let's do it. And then again, I don't know, it doesn't come directly next, but we do see Womack and Madsen being replaced and put out of a job by the computer.
I like how you went for a character name for one and the actor's name for the other.
I was trying to think of the best combination that sounded like a buddy cop duo, like Womack and Madsen sounded pretty good.
Sure.
So, but then, as you said, it's a while before we meet David, but we see him in an arcade. Man, there ain't nothing like an 80s arcade with the
those were pretty rad, especially the kind that he was in, because living in LA, we have like mega arcades, but we also had those hole in the wall ones with like a little hot dog stand and stuff. And that would be back for sure.
Man, I didn't have shit. I didn't have any of that stuff. I wouldn't see it until I went out to California.
And then you were driving down, taking them off. You're like, what?
Like, what's happening? Manhattan didn't have like arcades. We had pizzerias and bodegas that would make at most sometimes 3 or 4 cabinets, but it wasn't, you would go there to eat and play these specific games. It wasn't a full place with a lot of different games. And if there was an arcade in the 80s in New York, because we didn't have malls either, I'd have to go to Jersey or something like that, or upstate. And who the fuck's doing that? So, because that's, if I wanted to go to Chuck E. Cheese, I had to go to Jersey. Let's see. Because Chuck E. Cheese was probably the first kind of arcade I went to. Because that was a full arcade.
And I barely ever went to Chuck E. Cheese, ironically. Because I had so many arcades.
I know. Why would you need to go to Charles Entertainment Cheese's establishment? So he's playing Galaga, and he's going to be late for school. And then he goes into a classroom where he takes a really good, with respect, shot at the teacher. But by the way, not just his, but Jennifer, is that the character name for Ali Sheedy?
Yep.
Both of their F's were flaunted in front of the class.
I know. This guy's an asshole.
I know. Also, it was very of the era. That's what teachers did. They were dicks. And but yeah, so he fired a zinger back, got sent to the office. But then so one of the things I really like about this movie is the friendship between David and Jennifer. I didn't need for it to go into romance. They did it. That's fine. But it just felt like they were kind of just like hanging buds for a while. For a lot of this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Until they kissed, and then I was like, all right.
Yeah, I guess I was
feel
fine
like a
with
lead up to that, but
yeah, I was fine with it either way. It's fine with them just being friends. It's fine that they get together because I think I kind of like that it's kind of casual. Like the movie doesn't make it into some huge love story. It's just like, yeah.
I feel like the movie could have also just had them be friends. Because it's not like he like saw her across the hall and it's like, I got to invite her back to my, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it didn't work like that because she basically followed him out of school and started talking about like getting him in trouble. And then it's like, hey, want to see my giant, massive, record size floppy disk.
Yeah.
and then basically, yeah, so they start playing around, and I really like, there's a moment in this movie, I'm skipping ahead just a little bit, which is like the cutting back and forth between the seriousness of what's happening at NORAD and like the casualness of what them playing the game with Joshua, drinking soda and laughing and stuff like that. Like it really is like, again, I have no idea what's going on. I think it's a fun juxtaposition.
No, it is. And again, like we said, like because the movie chose to really immerse ourselves in the NORAD stuff. So it's not like we don't enter into NORAD through David. We're already there. So we understand, which was why it's such a great sequence. I'm also jumping around, but when they first start playing Global Thermonuclear War, and like we already understand like the insane stakes of what they think is just a lark, just a game.
Oh yeah, and before we even get to that, he basically changes the grades. He hacks into the school system. We get a little bit of here's how computers work for yes. A lot of people at the time
didn't know.
They needed to know this stuff. There was very Christopher Nolan here, which is like, oh, you're going to get a lot of rules. You're going to get a lot. What's a backdoor? Things we take for granted now. Like,
yeah,
he didn't know what a backdoor was, and he had to have it explained to him by Maury Chaykin of all people,
by a better hacker.
and there was that Big Bang Theory moment of like, you stay here, like they get weird, like you're a pretty girl. They're going to be like,
right. Well, just goddamn Eddie Deason, who apparently is like that in real life. So there you go.
Yeah, I guess. But even that scene, we got a guy on the spectrum, right? Kind of like there was that moment when Chaykin's character is like, remember when you told me to tell you if you were being rude, or you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
because he that was very much like like is unable to read other people's responses, read the room. So, so it was very interesting. But yeah, he goes to them. He's trying very hard to get into,
he thinks is Protovision, the game company.
He's trying to get a new computer. He's trying to get this new thing.
Well, he wants to play the games before they're released. That's what he wants to do.
And, so yeah, he takes a week off of school, Eric, to read, because he's like, find out who created the program, and he does that. The guy's dead, because he's looking for the password, and it really is just sort of like a guessing game at this point until he learns about the dead son, and then after playing hooky for a full week, he with his dad eating obscenely buttered corn,
way too much butter.
Wow, I hope he ate that bread too, because it's the bread just the way to get the butter on the corn.
I don't know, it was really disgusting. No, I like bread, butter, and corn, and that was grossing me out.
That is terrible. Somehow I hate all of those things now.
But yeah, now they all repulse me.
But yeah, so he figures out it's Joshua, and then he starts playing around, and I really do like how it comes back later when they're one of the first places he's breaking into, just figuring out numbers. It's like, what is this place? Oh, it's Pan Am. Like, he doesn't know what it's going to open for him.
Right.
A lot of these numbers, he's trying every single number in Sunnyvale, and he gets Pan Am, and he like reserves them a flight to Paris, and like it bites him in the ass eventually, because they think he's a traitor.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, you have a flight out of the country.
Right.
But yeah, so then we meet Joshua. We get a computer voice, I guess, also voiced by John Wood. It says here,
Yeah.
who is Falcon doing the computer voice, and he thinks he's playing just again. They're treating it so casually because they think it's a game, but it kind of reminded me of RoboCop a little. Speaking of another movie with two words in one with the second with the capital letter in the middle, which is the Nukem game, which is like, what do you want to nuke first?
You cross my line of death. Yeah. No, it's a great scene. It's very funny that sometimes movies from the 80s do things that a movie about the 80s would do. So cutting to them both chugging tab, I thought was very funny.
Yes, amazing.
but yes, that it's a really well done scene because as we see the panic at NORAD while they are gleefully, Ali Sheedy being like, kill him. And, just like subs, like that they're just having a ball.
Should we launch our nuclear subs? Of course. Why not?
Right.
And this movie's got tab, it's got nerds, it's got all the 80s hallmarks.
Defcons.
Yeah, Defcons. It's got fucking Dabney Coleman. It's got everything you'd want from an 80s movie.
Defcon for Dabney.
So they're like, okay, so it's a whole thing where eventually, because he's got to go and clean up the fucking garbage, the game kind of stops. He shuts it all down. And there's a reprieve at the war room at NORAD, which is like, and some guy actually runs in and is like, it's a simulation. And it's not just the crazy guy at the mall being like, this isn't real, man. This is a guy who's like, what you're watching is a fake thing.
It's the guy who oversees Whopper.
He's like, we've traced it to a guy in Seattle, but they don't have an exact thing, but they're going to go check it out. My question for you, Eric, is once he says that and says everything's a simulation, what you've been doing, stop, they don't ever think
about it being a possibility again.
It never comes up again. It's like everything else from there on out is a real situation. As even like when they're like, we don't see any Russian planes, we don't see any this or that, and Barry Corbin's like, that's bullshit. They always forget this guy. Maybe invite him back into the room. Maybe talk to him, because things get way out of hand, and this guy seems like he could tell you if it's real or not, and you're ignoring him. Okay. But yeah, this is when it's actually kind of cool, which is like David sees the news after he's passed all of his classes but through the talent of hacking. He sees the news and he freaks the fuck out. And it's really funny because when he talks to Jennifer on the phone, he's panicked and she's kind of excited. She's like, right. Us? And he knows that he's going to be arrested and thrown into like a cell for the rest of his life.
Right.
But then, so this is how the movie, so then here's the thing. There's a kind of an after school special element of this movie, which is like, okay, this is a fun parable. Maybe this movie can last about an hour. This is like a TV movie or something like that. This movie could have ended here because the guy's like, it's a simulation. Everyone stop. And he's like, oh shit, is this us? It's like, oh, throw everything away. The movie's over. But what happens is Joshua calls back. And the movie gets to go another hour because he didn't stop the game. The game is going to keep going, and the computer. This is where the technology kind of gets ahead of itself here. Sure. Sentient computer calls back and is still trying to achieve the primary goal, which is to win.
It hasn't stopped the game. This is when we see that it's still playing this game.
It's still 52 hours left, so it's got 2.5 days or something like that until everything launches for real. What the computer's doing until then, I'm not quite sure, except making everyone panic by moving things around the board and getting things ready, simultaneously making the Soviets insane because they're reacting to what America's doing. Tensions are high, getting higher. The difference is we stay drier. And then, so that's how the movie kind of like saves itself, is that because again, computer doesn't call back, game's over, movie's over. Maybe he gets arrested and questioned or something like that.
Right.
But now it's a situation where no matter what he's doing, everything like we're going to launch or the Soviets are going to launch or something horrible is going to happen if something's not solved in 52 hours. And it's not helped by the fact that he is grabbed, he's arrested and taken to Colorado. And
I mean, like you said, it's like, I mean, again, I think to the movie's credit, though, it's like, this is this whole proto AI thing. The term AI is never used. They never, though they talk about how it's an amazing thing that this computer can learn from its mistakes and, get better and better. But, it doesn't get quite into, well, it doesn't have to get into Terminator territory because it's still going to destroy the world. It might not be killer robots, but it's still, even if it's by accident,
no, because this isn't, again, like I said, Skynet's purposeful.
This isn't malicious.
This is an oopsie. This is an oops all berry situation.
So it's still saying, hey, we need to be careful. This stuff could fucking destroy the world, but it's not getting to the like intentionally, but it is, this idea that it keeps playing the game. It's like that's its purpose, because that's all it does. As we, when we're introduced to Whopper, we're told all it does is play World War III over and over and over again.
Just like me every week on Twitter. When World War III inevitably, I can say that word, inevitably trends on Twitter every week. Do various things. This week it was the Russian coup. It just pops up every now and again. Along with Civil War, those things seem to trend quite a bit. Okay. So he's fucked. He's trying very hard to convince people, but then he's like, I'm gonna shut up. I'm not even gonna plead my case. I want a lawyer because Dabney Coleman's not listening to me. He thinks I'm working with someone else. And also a lot of McKittrick's angle here is it couldn't just be a mistake in my system. Either he knows it was and is denying it to save his skin, or he truly doesn't believe it could have happened. Like some random teenager can get into his system. Either way, his story is that this is a full conspiracy and David's working with someone and it's a Soviet plot, et cetera, et cetera. So no matter what David says, he's not going to buy it. But this is when Dabney vanishes from the movie. As soon as he leaves the room and goes to talk to people, and then David escapes, and with the help of a handy tour group, he walks out and he's in Colorado and gets Jennifer to buy him a plane ticket. Dabney vanishes until the very end of the movie, and we don't cut back to him or see what he's doing at all while things escalate between the two nations and the nuclear powers. Okay, so I don't know how she affords a plane ticket. I don't know how he gets on a plane without an ID. It's just a different time.
Yeah, well, it was a big thing about wow, people today just don't know what it was like to not have cell phones. And when he's like, can you get me a plane ticket and have it left at, I can pick it up at so-and-so. And I'm like, Jesus, but he can't follow up with her easily. Everything's got to be.
Oh, I know. Well, so it's everything was freer, but also more restricted, which is to say, you didn't have cell phones. You didn't have access to everyone at all times. You had to go into a phone book to find her, to look up somebody, if the doctor's alive on Goose Island. You had to hack the phone. But at this point, there's kind of no way. I don't even know if there's for security reasons, if you could just buy a ticket for someone and have it, them go pick it up.
No,
fly on a plane somewhere,
So that stuff, I have no idea. I also say that his escape from NORAD, it's very convenient that there's that tour group there, and I don't know if they'd still be running tour groups right after they just had that scare.
No, and not only was there that scare, the dude leading the tour scares that woman when she gets on the phone. He's no, makes her think that she launched we really thought
it was about to be a nuclear war yesterday. But I will say that I talk a lot about how movies don't have to necessarily have realistic things. You just have to sell it as real. The way he gets out of that room, I don't know if that trick would work, but it seems like it would. If the whole recorder, and he'll record the tone.
I feel like I've seen it in other movies, and this may have been the first movie it was used in.
Right.
But that still doesn't mean it's real. It could just mean all the movies are copying
each other,
because it's a thing that audiences buy into. But
but it feels real. It works. I do think it's funny that they have so much spent on the super lecherous guard hitting on the girl who's really bothered by it,
and he's a guy too.
Yeah, he is. He's another that guy. But it's just funny that there's no real payoff. He's just a lecherous asshole who will not leave.
I just felt bad for her, because he probably just hung out there his whole.
Because he's am I bothering you? Yes. Do you want me to leave? Yes. He just fucking won't.
It's terrible. I hope he gets hit with a nuclear missile.
I
It's always very interesting to me when this is not an action movie, but there are actiony moments put in for trailer purposes, like them leaping onto the ferry, them running from the helicopter that you think is an enemy, but it just turns out to be Dr. Falcon being like, hey, it's me. I've changed my mind. And the sparks shooting up at the command center at the end, like these things that are put in that feel like designed for trailers, but like it's not an action movie at all.
I mean, I guess I'm a little more okay that the helicopter part I do like because they just were ranting about who lives on an island without a boat, and then it's like it turns out he has a helicopter. But also the fact that they know they're wanted at that point. The part that was the funniest to me on the action level though is when they have to make it to NORAD before it's sealed, and it's just weird that it's like they're in this military jeep and smashes through the gates and they kind of tip over. But it's just funny that the guy driving is just like a nobody, a military guy that it presumed they met up with. It's like you'd think it'd be David or Falcon driving, or Jennifer, one of them driving that Jeep. If this is going to be like we have to make it in time, rather than like literally
get me the gate crasher.
I mean, this guy did go all out for them, so kudos to him. But
maybe it was the lecherous guard.
He's his redemption arc.
Yeah, he like comes through in the end. He's like, you know what? I've changed my ways. We're all gonna die. I regret how I've lived.
I should not have bothered her. Like
I regret the pain I've caused. So yeah, they go find. So yeah, he discovers while he's briefly held captive that Dr. Falcon is still alive, and that a secret residence is hidden on the Whopper on the Joshua computer. He goes and tracks him down. Jennifer joins him, and he's a kook. He's a badly wounded, damaged man who's ready for not just his own life to end, all of humanity. So that's the ideal situation when you find a presumed dead scientist, is that they are ready to sacrifice the entire world because they missed their son. They go to him, they plead with him, and he's like, this is inevitable. I am inevitable, like Thanos. And they're not getting through to him until he says something about Joshua. But I guess that's the only convincing he kind of needs, because he's in the helicopter and he's like, guess what? 180. Let's go.
Right.
And this is John Wood, who I don't know. He's not that guy to me. I don't know him from anything. Yeah, I guess he did a lot of theater, probably. Maybe a lot of movies, just ones I didn't see. Who knows? Oh, interestingly enough, he's in Lady Hawk.
There you go.
Is he? Who is he in this movie? Fuck.
Stop, Matt.
Wait, I need to look. I think he's the villain. I think he's the villain.
I have no recollection
Lady Hawk,
of a villain in Lady Hawk.
Rutger Hauer throws the sword through him. Anyway, I think so. Anyway, the Lady Hawk fans are excited that I probably pulled that out. I'm just letting you know, you think it's a waste of time, but you'll see.
All right.
Okay, so we all head back to NORAD. The creepy guard is obviously the one who crashes them through the gate.
I will say I like Falcon's, his little speech about the game being pointless and how the government thinks they're acceptable losses when there can be no winner. And I like Ali Sheedy, Jennifer's I'm only 17 years old, I'm not ready to die. I thought that was all nicely done.
Yeah, all of this actually works except for me for their kissing. I I feel like they needed to earn that more. I liked it. Doesn't mean that they couldn't be palling around guys and fun friends. But Palling Around Guys and Fun Friends. That's an album title. Okay. We are back at NORAD, and but this time with John Wood as Dr. Falcon there to kind of do not much. He's kind of like beholding everything, except he tells it comes from him specifically that it's all fake, and he's telling General Jack Behringer is the character name, played by Barry Corbin. Don't launch. Trust me, this is all fake. But he doesn't have any proof. He can't pull up charts. He can't show them. He's like, just trust me. And so there's the tense moment again. It works well in the movie where they're talking to all these different missile bases,
the places that will be hit first if this is real.
And they let the simulation play out, and then they check in with them. And they're all there. So it's a big like celebratory moment, and they're like, "Yay!" It's funny because right then a new crisis starts, for which there's a different celebratory moment after that solved, and they go, "Yay!" again, which is that because America won't launch its nukes, the human factor, it's going to get the codes and launch it itself, and so
Yes.
it's a race against time.
And this I like how, like, Barry Corbin, the director, the general, the whole thing of like, we may have to go through with this because like if we can't stop this, like, like this might just be happening no matter what. Is a good moment, good tense moment there.
I can imagine, because I didn't see this in the theater, I can imagine that when he's like, you know what, your system sucks. Like, I bet that got a lot of laughs in this. I've come to the conclusion that your computer sucks ass.
I did see this in the theater. I can't tell you for sure. I just know it's a well-received movie. The only thing that drives me crazy,
we're all gonna die. This thing sucks.
There's this one line. That line didn't bug me as much as one line they give Ali Sheedy that is so weird, because the purpose of the line is for her to remind David that this is a game to Joshua, to Whopper, and to kind of think about the tic-tac-toe thing. But the specific way that they decided to have it do is for a split second, for one line, she becomes super naggy and weird and judgy, saying, "I told you not to start playing games with that thing," just so we can go, "Games, yeah." And then she can be back to being Jennifer and being like enthusiastically helping him. But it's this weird moment.
Man, it would have been better.
They wanted her to see the word games.
I know. His mom should have been there or something to say that.
Right?
Or his dad eating corn. It's like,
too much butter.
It's like, I told you it's like mouth dripping corn. I told you to stop fucking playing games.
We have to let this guy in here.
It's like, it's me, it's corn dad. Okay. Man. It's like, let go of my butter corn dad.
It's a whole other thing.
Butter corn dad is my favorite. That's my favorite dating site. Yeah.
Again, and something that, how do you make, people sitting at screens interesting is a question that still is to this day, even more so, obviously. But this is the first movie that I deal with it. It's a very fun visual way they do it with the light. It looks like, it's like fireworks on them of like the simulations that won't stop of the nuclear holocaust.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming, and like you see the computer running through all these various presumed real scenarios, like the Belgian flip. I don't know. I'm just making it up. They're trying all these things.
No matter who starts it, where it starts, that it just results in everyone.
I have a question that I have no answer to, which is that did they get the idea for the design of the computer graphics for this from Missile Command, or did Missile Command get it from nuclear war scenarios? You know what I mean? Like, it's very much the same. The explosions are those circles of white that sort of come out. It's very much like that video game. So
I'm guessing the same source. Yeah, it feels like this is probably people looking at the same thing. But yeah, it's very effective. They do it. Just the visuals of this unstopping, nonstop nuclear simulations, and then yes, the Joshua / Whopper's line. A strange game. The only winning move is not to play.
It's a good game. I don't believe a computer would say that, but it's a good line.
It's a very good line.
It's a good line. Winner,
it's learning.
none.
It's evolving.
It's feeling.
Right. And then again, very of the era, as we've talked about with other movies, is like when a movie is over, it's fucking over. So there's no wrap up scene. There's no like what happens next.
Daniel won the fucking karate tournament.
Right. Home. Like we are done. So like I said, McKittrick tussles David's hair. David tussles his hair back.
I guess no one goes to jail. No one gets fired. I don't know.
Right. They all go to Paris together?
What? He's like, I still got these tickets to Paris.
I got it for everyone. I hacked back into the airline.
I also changed your grades. You're doing great. Everyone gets an A.
And then Barry Corbin's like, I love this job.
Freeze frame. Yeah.
Right.
He's like, see me. When did Short Time come out? Speaking of Dabney Coleman,
Not sure.
I remember I wanted to see that movie so
did?
badly based on the commercials, and it looked very funny to me. And
1990.
I still to this day have never seen it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. I was looking at the poster of him hanging upside down, and I kind of remember.
He's a cop who's trying to get himself killed on the job
for the insurance
because he thinks he's dying.
Right.
Yes, and so that his wife, played by Terry Garr, I believe, gets
and you know who's in that movie with him?
Matt Frewer.
But also Barry Corbin is in this movie.
Did John Badham direct this?
No, but
who's
they
this
reunited them.
Greg Champion bastard.
Joey Pants is in it.
But the director of this movie was a producer on Stakeout, directed by John Badham. See, there's the connection.
Oh, there you go. How it goes. Anyway, I really like War Games. Rewatching again. I watched it all as a kid. Then I didn't watch it forever. Then I watched it about 10 years ago with the new Bev. But rewatching, I'm just here's my main thing about War Games. It's a very good movie. It's one of those movies I'm shocked has not gotten a modern day remake yet because it seems so ripe for it. Now there was a straight to video. I say sequel in air quotes because it was one of those things where it's like, just a pseudo remake. We called it War Games 2 or War Games : something in like 2006, 2008. But this seems...
Who is in that? Anyone?
Matt Lanter who's Anakin on the Clone Wars and was on the 90210 reboot. But this and Shocker, Matt, are my two movies that I'm like, oh, this feels... And that's not me saying, oh, they can do it right this time. I mean, I think this is a great movie, but it just feels like everything about it with the, hacking computers, AI, war simulation, it just feels like you could do a very... of the moment version of this that I think would work very well as well.
Oh man, I'm looking at the cast of that movie besides Matt Lanter. The voice of Whopper in this one is Colm Feore.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of like the only name that stood out to me in this movie. Amanda Walsh, I don't know who that is. Anyway, I guess we should do this next week.
Oh, Claudia Bach was in it. She's another voice in it. She was the voice of her. But yes, I don't think we're going to do War Games. The Dead Code was
the voice of Ripley. What the fuck?
Well, they had to up it. There were two systems. I don't know.
I just learned recently, by the way, because I never saw The Predator, the Shane Black Predator.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That there were alternate endings with Ripley and Newt or something.
Yes,
that was supposed to tie back into Alien, and there were time travelers or something. Oh,
yes,
that's insane.
There was crazy shit. And I mean, the ending they went with is weird. Everything about that movie is very, very weird. They reshot so much of that movie. There's like all those pictures of like an outdoor daytime fight instead of a nighttime fight. It's weird. Anyway, Matt, what are your final thoughts on War Games? And do you agree with me that a remake seems like something that is a no-brainer?
I guess so. I think. I don't know.
Or legacy sequel, and Dr. David walks in.
He's made his own computer.
This reminds me of something that happened to me. Broderick gets to come in as Professor Lightman.
You could do a legacy sequel with both because Ali Sheedy still works and Broderick. You could do that.
Oh, we never mentioned the actor, the character actor that the use would most recognize because the movies had the longest lifespan, which is James Tolkien, Strickland from Back to the Future, being one of the
yes, he's in this too.
Yeah.
So I think it could work. I think that this was such a specific time of the Cold War between the two superpowers and that like when nuclear
but Russia it's so hot right now.
It is. Russia's so hot right now. Again, the past couple year or the past year I should say or calendar year, as far as like the invasion of the Ukraine and everyone talking about like the possible use of nuclear weapons again, which is a conversation that I don't know if you know this, Eric, I don't like people having. It sounds bad. But this time, Eric, this was a time when my elementary school social studies teacher, Mr. Fields, would tell us that the Russians had nuclear subs in the Hudson River. And my mom would go in and yell at him. This was a very, very bizarre, heightened time in American history. And, obviously the 80s weren't the only decade of it, but it was the final decade of it. And we went out strong. And so, yeah, this was a very much an of the era movie. I still think it's relevant, though, obviously. So, yeah, because it's still relevant, I think I don't know what it is, but there is an angle that could bring it back. Because you know what? This is a message that we probably should remind ourselves of every couple decades. Every 40 years, we should learn that nuclear war is bad. And
we don't want it.
Yeah,
we don't want it.
Just say no to nuclear holocausts.
By the way, I figured out the actor who played the teacher that we both recognize, Alan Blumenfeld. He was in Friday the 13th Part 6 as one of the paintballers who gets killed.
Good.
But then, amusingly, he played Greg Grunberg's father on both Felicity and Heroes. I remember he had the same powers, I believe. He was also a guy who could push.
Oh, weird. So there were three guys pushing?
Yeah, there was a third guy.
There's a third guy who could push?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, he's like Grunberg's go-to dad. There you go.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's got a ton of credits, this guy. So,
yeah.
He was in, I'm looking here, he was in Righteous Kill, which was like the never talked about because it was terrible De Niro Pacino movie that was like the Heat reunion, the Disgusting Brothers are back in 2008's Righteous Kill.
The other thing that amuses me looking at his credits, as we go way down the Alan Blumenfeld route, is that he was on Family Ties, has 6 different characters.
Jesus Christ.
This was something I do remember a lot as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
The reuse of, and I know it still happens on
It happened on Love Boat. It happened on,
But to do that, Family Ties wasn't on that many years. So the fact that he played 6 different roles,
6 or 7 seasons, right? Like,
I think,
that's like a roll a season.
Yeah. It's like, get him in there. There you go. It's like he's like Rachel Dratch on 30 Rock.
Get me Blumenfeld. Yeah. All right. That was War Games. I hope everyone liked it. And I hope everyone was able to find it by using it as one word. Hope everyone either had a great time rewatching it after a while or watching it for the first time and finding that this message is still relevant to this day, even though the Soviet Union no longer exists. But nuclear weapons still do. Superman did not get rid of them like he said he would in Quest for Peace.
Unfortunately not.
All right. Until next time when we watch Fire and Ice, don't be a buttercorn dad. Everything's possible, but nothing is real. And Shakma.
Ew. Shakma.
Shakma!